I will maybe start with a controversial question. Have we gone mad? Are we crazy that we have to pay for psychotherapy for our employees? Because this is the question what many HRs ask us and what ask I myself 2 years ago when COVID came. Back in the time, I was CEO of a marketing agency, and our business simply stopped there, and we didn't have much resources. So I had to fire almost 40% of our people. So it was really sad, and it was through video like this, and it was emotionally horrible, not only for me, but for the whole culture. And then I need to support everybody, and I try to find a solution. So I can really understand the feeling when you need to support somebody in your internal team. And that's how we co-found Hedepy, actually. I will play with this clicker as Petra as well.
I think that clicker is like revenge
on
us.
That's the... Yeah. And nowadays, as Petra said, and you actually said it as well, 59% of the whole population has affected mental health somehow because of COVID and sadly because of Ukrainian crisis. We feel fear, burnout, and something inside us is not right. So this is something which usually can be true for almost half of your team in your company. So you have to be careful about this. In Hedepy, the clicker. Oh yeah. In Hedepy, we try to make psychotherapy accessible and anonymous. I think that's pretty important. Petra said it as well. As you said, we have 250 certificate therapists. It's because people would like to choose the right fit from themselves because everybody is individual. And the really important part of Hedepy is that you can do it as soon as possible. Simply in hours, you can have a help. During last 2 years, we have a session with hundreds of HRs because nowadays we have 13,000 employees on Hedepy who can use it every day. And the HRs start to ask many different questions. They were curious because it's not like in US where this is really common benefit. It's something new in Central, Eastern, and maybe in the whole Europe. It's something a little bit new. So they ask simple questions like, do people really want that? To talk about something, isn't it a little bit strange? Or what if will everybody use it? What we are going to do with our resources, with our budget? Isn't it crazy that everybody now can go for psychotherapy in our company? Or isn't it crazy that we will do it? What other people from other companies will think about us? So this is many questions which we receive every day. And I think it's a good time now, after 2 years of pandemic, to show you real data. Because we ask the companies and the employees for feedback, how they really perceive psychotherapy in their company. Of course, this is not like a huge study where we ask hundreds or thousands of people. So I think it's a good indication and we should take it like this. So we ask 100 employees from 13,000 and we ask 20 HRs, our leaders, because this is important as well. And we done it 1 week ago. So I think it's pretty fresh and let's jump to do that. But first of all, I would like to play a small game with you guys who are watching us. I would like to ask you which benefit most convinces you that your company really cares about you. Because this is something which I asked as well the employees, and I would like to compare your your answers with the employees' answers and see if there is a difference or if you really understand where we are now. So you can use Slido and you can vote if you want, guys. So let's jump to the research. First of all, I ask why HRs decided to implement psychotherapy in their companies. And I think it's not big surprise that most of them would like to support their employees in these times. That's completely understandable. Some of the HRs really think that this is a fundamental part of their benefit systems and they should have it before, but simply the management didn't have a right attitude to help them. But what was really surprising for me here is that not many people, actually, their employees, like raise the hands and say, you know, I would like to have psychotherapy as a benefit. You can see in the research that it was really a few of them. So you can't expect that the people will come and say, hey, Paulina, can I have a psychotherapy as a benefit? You simply can't expect it. So it doesn't mean that if people don't ask you for this, they don't want it. I think that's the first important learning. The second one is I asked them how challenging was it for them to implement it to the company, because I really saw that many HRs have doubts about it, if the management and the colleagues will perceive this benefit as a positive thing. And as you can see, according to our study, for many of them it was pretty simple actually. And it was surprising for me because I speak with them every day and they say, you know, it's a little bit hard. But if they compare it with other benefits, for them the implementation of psychotherapy, it was a standard process, something really, really okay. The next question was usability. This is actually the most common question which we receive from HR. How many people will really use the psychotherapy? How much we are going to pay for this? And for me, we use our statistics, so this is not only from 100 employees, this is from 13,000 people who can use Hedepy every day. And the usability is around 6%. It's not much, right? I was surprised, and I think, if you look to statistics, we have companies who have 40%, and we have companies who have 2%. So it's something between, and it's really interesting to speak today about why this number? Because if you look to statistics, 59% of people have some mental issue today. They have some problem. And only 5.5% in the companies, if somebody pay for it, use it. So this is interesting. Averagely, they have 3.5 sessions per one employee. So that's actually really good time when some psychotherapists help somebody. They usually do four sessions. So I was curious and I asked more how the HR met the expectation, how they think that the benefit was successful in their companies. And we got many responses, so I try to summarize it for you. They usually say that they are really satisfied if they implement it, but maybe they expected more involvement from the employees. But if somebody came to the psychotherapy, it really helped them. So that was the summary, and it's interesting. It leads me to the thing which Petra mentioned. It's really about the communication, because if you start the benefit and you just promote it once, or if you don't show that you go to the psychotherapy as well, maybe the employees will not participate there. So it's interesting, but I would like to focus more today about employees and not HRs. So let's jump to their answers. I asked them how they see the implementation of psychotherapy as a benefit to their company. What do they think about that? And this was something shocking for me, because only 5.5% people use it, but 80% of them think that it's really positive that they have it in the company. So it's a really good sign that people don't raise their hands, but they really think that it's great that somebody can listen to them, and if they have a problem, they can use a help. The second question is why they don't use it if they have it. Why they don't go to psychotherapy if they have a chance and somebody pay for their session. And this was surprising for me as well. Of course, around 45% of the people simply think that they don't need it. It's really common and it's understandable because of our culture as well. Because well-being and mental health, it's not really like a huge topic in our society. It wasn't, now it is, but we need to educate us a little bit more. But here is the thing, 47% of the people, 47%, sorry, do not have time or think that they do not have time for this. So it leads me again to your previous discussion that maybe we have to give them time, go to psychotherapy. Maybe we have to tell them that it's okay if they do it that during their working hours, you know, and not at the weekend or at the evening, that they can have a time for it. And then we go on with another question. I really ask which benefits most convince you that your company cares about you. And I will go back to your answers, guys, to your HR answers. I see that from your perspective, it's psychotherapy, multi-sport card, some employee stocks, and points in cafeteria. I think we have a little bit different answers than the employees has. So I will start from the end of the answers. This is the chart which we had. On the last line is points in cafeteria and doctor on the phone. I think it shows that points in cafeteria, it's a standard. I think everybody expects that you will have it. It's not something where you show that you really cares about your employees. So that's the standard, and I really meet HRs who say, you know, we have points in cafeteria and that's it, because that's our beneficial system. But it shows that people want more today, especially in this crisis environment. So the next steps was multi-sport card and employee stocks, of course. But if you go to the top, people still like in our society, in Central Europe, Eastern Europe, food vouchers. It's surprising, but I understand that it's something necessary. But I was surprised that if you go to the top, they really think that psychotherapy can help them. That's something which you show today that you really care. It's something innovative. They perceive it as something new benefit system. And then we start to ask if our service, our product, how we really designed Hedepy is useful for the employees, if they don't want to make it a little bit differently. So we ask what is the most important for you in the psychotherapy service? What really they want if you talk about well-being and psychotherapy? Of course, this most important is to have the session as soon as possible. Because if somebody is burned out or has depression, they don't want to wait 2 months or even weeks. They would like to have it in 5 minutes. So this is what we are going to implement it, because I think this is the most important thing. The second is anonymity. People don't want to share that they go there. People don't want to, raise their hands. But I think it's a little bit changing, and they will talk more about it. But most of your employees don't want to share it with you. So you have to remember this. The third thing is large number of qualified and certificated therapists. Because people need a right fit. People would like to find their individual therapist who is suitable to them. The next thing is really like a video profile and the reviews. Because in psychotherapy, you would like to find a therapist and understand who is it before you jump to the session. You would like to feel how the person reacts and what's their experience. What was surprising for me as a leader of Hedepy here is that webinars, exercise, and video content, which create resilience in the society or in your company, is at the end of this. It a little bit shows that maybe people need more focus on their problems than focus on everyday education or something like that. And I think we should discuss why is this like this. And the last question, I'm almost finishing my keynote, is this. And I think this is the most important part of this presentation. Because if the guys go for psychotherapy, if they have a problem, 90%, actually 91% of them say that they feel better after the session. So I think this is really good example that psychotherapy and well-being is helpful for the people, even they don't talk about that much in front of their leaders or HRs. To make a summary, to sum it up, please do not take this as a huge research which suits to every company. I think if you really would like to implement psychotherapy or well-being into the company, you should think about these indications. First of all, implementation is easy. You can do it, and because of nowadays crisis and everything around us, the people inside of your company will probably support you because they think that is possible. 80% of your employees will probably think that it's a positive thing if you will implement it. So it's really good for the leaders. They usually place this benefit above food vouchers and above the multi-sport cards and especially cafeteria points, because these benefits are standards on the market today. They will not use it in like a huge scale that everybody will go there. Usually it's now 5%, and you should promote it more in your company if you would like to increase this number, if you would like to help more people. And if they need it, they need to have it anonymous. They need to have it without telling somebody that they use it. But 90% of them could use it in a positive way, and it could help them. So that's everything from me, and that was the end of the research.
Thank you, Lukáš. It was amazing. And what I truly loved was that for many people, just implementing therapy as a benefit is a sign of empathy. Maybe I will not use it, but it's a great sign that my company truly cares about me.
I think it's an important sign of employer branding nowadays, that you really goes to the company which cares. That's important.
Mm-hmm. I think it's, because so often, and you said it, like at some point, some benefits are considered standard in companies, like points in cafeteria or the meal vouchers. We keep coming back to them, or the fact that you can maybe choose your own operational system, like if you use MacBook or Microsoft. But this is something like that's an extra. That's kind of the bonus.
It sounds like that, and I'm surprised from it because 2 years I'm listening that it's not like this from HR perspective, but from employees perspective it's like that. It's like this. But you have to give them time to use it. I think that's the most fundamental part of the research. They don't have time to use it, and they don't think that they can decide because they have to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that really resonated with me with the talk with Petra, like that we really have to give them the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Also, part of your research was talking to the HR managers. Obviously, you talked to a lot of HR managers. Yeah. I saw the companies there. There was Food Shop, CNC, Denso, so many companies, so exciting. What are the usual communication strategies when it comes to introducing this to the company? Because we talked about this with Petra, and it was like, yes, 50% of work is introducing that, but really running that campaign among the employees is another very crucial part of it.
I think this is a really important question, and we should talk about this. We usually start with a letter or mail from CEO or from leaders of the company. They introduce this benefit to their employees and say why they decided to do that. But this is really important because they see that the employees see that it's okay to visit a psychotherapist. The second part is education. As I said, not many people in our region understand what means mental health or mental health care. I haven't understand as well 2 years ago, so I can imagine that. So we have to start to educate how to understand my body and my feeling. And we do it as a webinar with real psychotherapists for each company. It's really interesting because almost 70% or 80% company participate in this event. So it's a lot, actually, if you compare it how many people go there after that. So big part of Hedepy is actually education and creating resilience against crisis and against stress, burnout, and these other stuff.
How long it usually takes for the company to implement your solution? Somebody's asking in Slido, and you're saying like, we talk to the HR manager, they're running a campaign, the CEO is sending out an email, we run a webinar.
I think when the HR decides to do this step, we have to start to count the time when she persuades her or his colleague inside the company. I think that this is the biggest part of the timing. But when they decide to go with us, we are ready to start in 2 weeks.
That's really good, because you talk about how important the speed is, and obviously this is something.
It's important to speed, especially if you have seasonal business, when people feel actually after the Christmas, when you have e-commerce and so on, they feel burnout. They really like January, February, leave the company. So we have to do it really fast if the company needs that they have many people who feel anxious, fear, stress, and so on.
Maybe we as marketers, we suffer from Christmas during summer.
Yeah,
I think you remember that.
True. I remember that very good.
And I always start singing the Christmas carols and so on.
To have a mood.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's high time to actually think about psychotherapy for your employees and the well-being strategy just right now, so you are in time for the season.
I think you are completely right, but every business have different seasonality. So for some of the business, like, I don't know, travel agencies and so on, is the season now. So actually always is a good time to start about implementation.
One question I really had, it was how important it is to be anonymous. Because obviously, this is health.
Crucial.
I don't want to share my secrets. And I, for example, talked to some of my friends if they're using therapy as a benefit in the company. And they were quite worried that the HR is basically in touch with the therapist, and the therapist is basically reporting on them. How does it work? How do you make it secure?
I think this is a most important part of the whole process, that nobody from the company, even us in Hedepy, don't have this secret. Only the psychotherapist and the employee. And we do it really simply. As Petra said, it has to be simple. We give them voucher. And the voucher is like six-digit code, is used for CEO, for middle management, and for the whole company. They have same digit. And they just give it to Hedepy during the payment method, and they just put it there and they have it for free. And that's it. That's it. No more magic. It's simple like this.
So you're not sending any reports or any kind of 20% of your employees have reported increased?
We send to the HR how many people visited the psychotherapist and how many sessions do they have averagely. That's the number, actually, what I showed you a few minutes ago. And that's it. If somebody gives a negative or positive feedback to us, we send it anonymously to them, that somebody say it's a good or it's a bad, to give HR understanding if they like it or not. But that's it. It's like two things.
Somebody's asking in Slido, what about the group sessions? Do you think they are beneficial for...
I think so, because people feel that they are in the same problem and they are open to talk about, and they can support each other. But for us, it was the beginning to start with individual session, and maybe we will go on with that. The group session has a problem that everybody has to have a time for it. It has to be regular. So you have to do it really with a group people regularly. So I think we will go there because many HRs asks for this benefit, but we don't have it now.
I worked in a company where we had it, and it was truly really good. We had it offline, but I think aligning the teams is not often to be done at team building, but can be done through a therapy, a shared one.
And, try to imagine cross-company groups where you have people on same position with similar problems, several challenges, and they can speak in a group session. This is where we are heading. That you can connect different companies, different people with similar problems and support them each other.
And last question that has arrived from Slido, do people, and I don't know if you can say it because you said it's very, very anonymous, but do actually people talk about work-related topics or personal-related topics, or you think it's the same?
I don't know, and I think it's not important actually, because you need people who feel good, and if they have a trouble at work or at home, it doesn't matter because their mind and their world is connected. So I don't know. I know what people search in Hedepy, and I can understand that burnout and stress is number 2 and number 3 in our statistics.